on everyone. So here on this channel, and even my mother channel as it stands, I am very big on transparency, right? I'm really big on giving you the information accurately, whether it turns out to be legit or not. And all of this stuff is speculation, especially when it comes to the Kyrie Irving trade, right? We're all just guessing. My job here is just to relay the information. I give my opinion on that information, and then I leave it up to you to decide whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. That's sort of the formula with both channels. There was a report in regards to the Kyrie Irving trade from Jovan Buha that basically said that the Lakers would be willing to give up 2 first-round picks, that they're pushing all into the table to try and acquire Kyrie Irving. Well, Jovan Buha was on Lakers Nation with Trevor Lane. Big shout outs to Trevor Lane and the Lakers Nation channel. If you haven't checked it out, link down in the description below. Go check it out. Really great channel. Covers Lakers. If you're a Laker fan, you got to watch that channel. But Jovan gave the information, the insight, and clarified a lot of the misconceptions, because he apparently was on, a radio show. He does podcasts and all kinds of stuff. Works for The Athletic, all of that. And he was saying that the question was asked, what was his thinking? Like, would he be willing to, does he think that the Lakers would be willing to give up 2 firsts? And so he said what he thought the Lakers would be willing to do, which is the Lakers would be willing to give 2 first-round picks for Kyrie Irving in a trade. And of course, the internet ran wild with it and all these reports and information, because it's somebody that's reputable from The Athletic. And so people took those snippets of like, oh, the Lakers are going to do that, and they ran away with it. There's even reports that have came out today on Bleacher Report, things like that, from like a New York Post post, and other media people are saying that, oh yeah, the Lakers are going all in to give 2 first-round picks, this, that, and the other, and basically just regurgitating what Jovan was saying, but now crediting it as themselves, like, hey, I have this inside information. And the reason I want to talk about this and address this is because I think it's something that is important when we're looking at the scope of things. Again, I'm somebody, and many other YouTubers we're just trying to start conversations and have topics, right? We're just trying to have entertainment, provide fun, have a little discussion, whether we agree or disagree. It's about the good fun and the entertainment factor. That's what it is as YouTuber. I've said it countless times. I am not some insider. I'm not some media person. I'm some dude on the internet that just makes videos and loves talking sports. And many of you seem to love the same way. But I'm also somebody that if something comes out as a report and I talk about it, and then something comes out that's like, this was total nonsense, I feel like I have that obligation to present that stuff and say, hey, here's something that was reported on, that was said by several sources, not just I didn't just pick the random, Lakers closet news and say, oh yeah, here you go, here's something. I usually go through, several other sources, reputable ones, to try to find the information. And, when there's several that are like, oh yeah, this is what's being said, and there's quotes from Jovan that's saying that, it's like, okay, like, cool, there's 15 different reputable sources or media outlets that are talking about the same thing. Let's talk about it. Let's share that stuff. But sometimes, like all things, there's misses. Even here on YouTube, I'm sure I will have many misses in my life, right? Talk about my opinions, talk about an idea, talk about what I think is going to happen, and it's wrong. And I'm sure I'll have many hits in my life where, I throw some out, right? I've hung my hat very high on Kyrie Irving going to the Lakers, right? So much so, I deal with what people say. I deal with everything because that's what my opinion is. My opinion is that Kyrie's going to the Lakers, and I think that is going to happen. And could I be wrong? Absolutely. And if I am wrong, I will take the backlash. I will admit, hey, look, I was wrong. That's how it works, right? I'm just expressing my opinion. I don't know. It's not like me and Kyrie are best friends and we're having drinks on Saturdays and he's like, yeah, dude, don't worry. As it stands, you're going to get the news, you're going to get the scoop. Like, no, it's nothing like that. I'm just looking at all the information and details that are out there, and I'm putting together the best assumption that I believe is the case. And that's what most people are doing. That's what all the media is doing. No one knows what is going to happen with Kyrie Irving. Anyone that says otherwise is foolish. Now, I think it's very high. I've talked about how I think it's like 90%, but I don't believe anything is 100% because you never know, especially in sports, especially in today's NBA. We have seen tons of things be like reported as finished, and then, a minute later, it's like, oh yeah, it fell through, right? I mean, there was even a Lakers trade last year with the Knicks and the Raptors that was reported on being finalized. They literally were going to submit the paperwork, and the Knicks at the final second were like, you know what, we want another first, and it just completely nixed the trade. It ruined the trade. Until it is finalized and it is finished, nothing is guaranteed. Now, I still think Kyrie Irving is very likely going to the Lakers. I still believe that Kevin Durant is going to get traded, very likely to the Boston Celtics. But who knows? Who knows what Joe Tsai is going to do? All of the reports that we constantly get are all over the place, right? One report says Kyrie Irving's coming to the Lakers. The next report is like Kyrie Irving wants to stay with the Nets. He loves the Nets. And it's just going to be this whirlwind until then. And, I enjoy talking about this stuff. It's entertainment. There's not much else in the world of the NBA and the Lakers and stuff like that. It's not like we have like this just treasure trove of stuff to talk about. So it's fun to talk about this and come up with the ideas and have the conversations and have the discussions and hear people's thoughts and opinions. And based on the numbers and the views and everything like that, people seem to really enjoy it as well. I know it's not for everybody. Of course, I get the comments where they're like, can't you just talk about it when it's official or this, that, and the other? But it's all about fun. It's YouTube. It's not that serious. I'm not here. I'm not a rep from the NBA trying to give you information. Like, no, I'm some dude on the internet that likes talking sports, that likes talking the Lakers, that loves the Lakers basketball. I am a fan. I try to remain as unbiased as possible, but sometimes my bias will come in and all of that stuff. But in reality, at the end of the day, like, I am a YouTuber. My job is to sit here and provide content for you to consume and talk about and enjoy. It's not that serious. It's all for fun. It's all for entertainment. It's just to have a sports conversation. People are talking about this regardless. I just want to give my opinions and, of course, listen to yours. Now, as far as like more information about what Jovan Buha said in regards to this potential trade, he said that he thinks it's possible that the Brooklyn Nets take on Russell Westbrook, but it depends on what direction they want to go. So the way he put it is if Brooklyn wants to kind of tank and rebuild, this year would be their best year to do so, because although the Houston Rockets have a pick swap, Houston probably isn't going to be that great this year. So if they the Nets would essentially, very likely, if they just full on tanked, would be in the sort of lottery, regardless. And so say Houston gets the sixth pick, and the Nets get the fifth pick. Well, yeah, the Houston will do the pick swap, but you're still getting a top six pick in a deep draft, or what many believe will be a deep draft. So he was saying if they were going to tank, this year would be the year to tank, and then kind of recoup as many assets as they can and get it going. Now, he said if they're not going to tank, then they're not going to get both firsts, because the Lakers got to reroute one of those firsts to another team, and maybe they could get another player. It just depends on what Brooklyn wants to do. Does Brooklyn want to kind of have like a soft rebuild, accumulate assets, accumulate draft cash for the following season for free agency and stuff? What does Brooklyn want to do? If they want to rebuild, then this would be a trade. They would be willing to take on Russell Westbrook. But even Jovan himself has said that he believes Kyrie Irving is going to the Lakers. He basically reiterated a lot of the stuff that I've been saying here on this channel as well, that he really thinks that it just makes the most sense for Brooklyn to just move off of Kyrie Irving. Why bring him in a training camp? All that stuff. Basically everything I've said for the last, month, 2 months in this regard. So it's good to hear a reputable person that's part of The Athletic and is not some Joe Blow Lakers news channel basically regurgitate what I've been saying and what I've been thinking too. Again, not saying that it means anything. I mean, it's good to hear somebody with insight that does this for a living can relay the same stuff that I'm like, oh, this is why this makes sense to me and why I think this is going to happen. And then he's like, here is what I'm connecting and what I think is going to happen. And they just line up and it's like, okay, cool. So Kyrie's probably going to go to the Lakers. Again, nothing's set in stone, nothing is concrete, but it's something that I want people to keep in mind when we're talking about the reports and stuff, because people grasp onto everything. They're like, oh, well, you reported this, so it has to be. Like, who knows? Again, there's information that's put out there. I take that information, I talk about it, hear your thoughts, and we have that conversation and that dialogue. Now, whether it turns out to be true, who knows? I mean, we don't know what is going on with Kyrie. None of us know what is going on with Kyrie. None of us are going to know what's going on with Kyrie until it actually gets done and it happens. So anyway, I just wanted, again, transparency is a big thing for me. I've always said in live streams and stuff like that, whether I'm right or wrong, you're always going to get honesty and you're always going to get like the best information possible. So if I talk about something that looks like it's not true, then I want to be able to relay that to you and say, hey, this report is not what it was reported as. It was something different. And in this case, it was something different. So I'll always try to do my best to, keep you updated, in the loop, keep you informed. Now, does that mean that the Lakers won't give up 2 first-round picks? No, it's very likely that that's going to be the case and that's what they're going to do. But it's not what Jovan Buha reported. He was just saying, like, this is what I would do if I was the Lakers, and everyone just kind of ran with it because it's like, oh, it's Jovan Buha. Like, it's somebody from The Athletic. Let's take that information and post it, and didn't give the full context. So that is something that I wanted to share with you all. But again, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of this information? Do you think the Lakers still do this? Do you think they don't? However you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about like things getting out of context? Do you think this happens a lot? It was just, at the end of the day, it was nice to see the clarity, because it's amazing how many times like people will put reports out there and no one will say anything. They'll just kind of leave it because people are talking about them, for one, and two, it's like, I don't want to look like I'm going back and lying. So it was nice to see Jovan actually come out and say, hey, look, I didn't say that they were going to trade the 2 first, or that the Lakers were getting ready to do that or something. I was just relaying that, if I was the Lakers, this is what I would do. It was nice to get that clarification because we don't always see that. So I respect that a lot. That he was willing to come out and say that, because people are going to be like, well, you should have, and they're going to have every excuse in the book for why like this guy is whatever, because it's just the internet, right? That's the world we live in today. But again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.